nervous. I mean, he's repeating some things that we learned previously. Now, I'm thinking that we are on page Taf Kuf. What is that? Sadi Vav. Let me see how this will work. Okay, not bad. Okay. Okay, so number Lamed Gimel, that's where we find ourselves. So I don't know exactly where we were. So he had okay, so a little bit now. He had mentioned two different pieces of numbers. He doesn't really tell me what the significance, let's say the root of why these particular numbers are important. Not yet. He wants us to understand 28 and 42. There are two sets of 28 and 42, and he enumerates them to a certain extent. And on Lama Gimel, let's see what he says. He says, V'hineb elo ha'arboim u'shtayim, and then the Esrim u'shmona ha'cherim. There's another set of 28 and 42. Hineb b'shtecha b'chinas halalu shehem koach tevos u'mab tevos acherim. So he said, well, what do you have? He says, wait a minute, you have 28 words, and you have another 42 words. So what's he talking about? So he says, the kavin as havaya the sag. So when you're doing the second set, the concentration has to be on a certain havaya the sag. The kavin bechem al havaya the milui sag. Sheyesh ba'olam abriya, which sag is because it's in olam abriya. Shazehu havaya the milui sag hu ba'olam abriya, just repeats himself. Sheyesh ba'havaya the milui sag. So we said, Uvachavaya the Milu Isag, his Yesh ba Esrim Ushmona or Baim Uvushtayim behind it. It has combinations that make Esrim Ushmona 28 and 42. Dahainu. Now he goes through this, and this is something important to know as a fact about it, which we do know a little bit. It says Esrim Ushmona the 28. The milui havaya the sag. So let's take sag and let's make the milui of that. They have to become koach osios kazeh. So it has to count them up. There are 28 letters here. If we talk about the milui of the milui, there's the yud, here's the k, here's the vav, here's the k. Count up the letters, it's 28. But also at the same time, v'arbaim u'shtayim, if you look at it a different way, there's going to be 42. Now, reason why I'm hesitating a little bit, because up above he says there's two different combinations of words. These are not words, or maybe they are words, but he's using numbers. Pasha, the milu via the sag. So if you take the pasha, which is 4, and you take the milu, which is 10, that's 14, and you add it on to the milu, which is 28, you get 42. Yesh behem med beis osius gazeh, it's so he shows you yud k vav k, then is the milui. And then Yud K, Vav K, which is the Milui, like that. So all of this, he says, Kaniska the Ereb the Mount Alofim, that's mentioned up above, different place. The Gemara should be a Rabbi the Mount, just with the same actual thing in regards to the Vaya the Ma, the Milui Alofim, Sheyesh the Kavan, Al Koach Shabbat, that it all says 28, Al Mab Shabbat, and there's ways that you could look at it as a 4, a 14, a 4, a 10, and a 28. You could look at it like that. So let's go on. V'tam kavana zu. The reason why we have this kavana, he v'chatam shebekoach mab de tevos. So he calls this the mab de tevos. Okay. Tzrikin lekave bekoach mab de havai de milui sag. So therefore, what ma are we looking at now? I haven't had a chance to really look at the Rishash Center, and I think it's probably worthwhile to see what it looks like. And from starting to investigate a little bit of the Rishash, it doesn't always say the same thing the Rab says. Sometimes says something different, it goes differently. So he said, the hamshech koach bechinas haruach the yitzira. So here he says like this. So this is what you're trying to do. This is the action, and we're looking at an action state. Action state is we're trying to bring the shefa of the koach bechinas haruach the yitzira ad sof kol asiya, and to spread it through all of asiya, and then as a result of that, it has the same qualities as yitzira. Kevin shebekoach mab de tevos. That's what our kavana is. He was sarichim. He said that doesn't say mekavanim. He says sarichim, but that's the kavana. Shator bezat Asiya ad sof kol Asiya, and should go all the way through Asiya. So he said, so therefore, Kedei l'chamshik etz ruach olam yitzira bezat Asiya. Now here's what you need to do. In order to bring that ruach of Yitzira all the way down to the under the feet of Olam Yitzira, so to speak, of Olam Asiya, ad sof Olam Asiya, all the way through, Tzricham Ad Lahoyer or Godel Ma'od, we have to have a kavanah to bring this light of the mind of the Ein Sof Baruch Hu, as it's possible to say, Ana Tzricham Lahoyer al Olam Asiya or Godel Ve'elyon, to a really high light. So he says, how do you do this? You do this from the same Sag de Bria. You go into Olam HaBria. Now, Bria is one notch up above Yitzira. So you go back to Bria, and to the name Sag. Shazeh ha'or ha'godol ha'elyon, ba'am b'shem havaya d'milui Sag sheba Olam HaBria, which is not in the Olam Yitzira, and it's not in the Olam Asiya. It's a light that's much stronger. Mena esrim b'shmona v'arbaim b'shtayim. Ba'ofen shemamshichim, this is the kavanah, mamshichim mechavaya the sag min hakoach osios. So this is the idea for the 28-letter combination. Shebamilu milu the sag, which is the milu of sag. Min hamab osios the pashu the mala the sag. Sheyachtav heim olin the mab osios, that together. Screwing this up here. Together they make the 42 letters. So he said the bria. So, but it comes from a bria. Hein hakoach v'tesag v'heim hamab desag, heim ba'olam habria. They come in olam habria. Now, I just want to say something that I saw in the Rishash. The Rishash says that mab is a gevura. Now, where did I see it? I might have saw. I'm learning a couple of different places. I always get it mixed up because I'm tired. But at any rate, we see this. Okay. El Shlosha Rishonas the Asiya. So what we're doing, we're going to pour this 28 down under the Gar of Asiya, V'chakoyach the Sag, V'amab the Sag, not just the 28, but also the 42. Mamshicham Olam Abriya al Hagar the Olam Asiya. Now I said before, it's interesting because he's talking about ultimately bringing it to all the way through, that this is actually the gematria of 70. As I said before, was 7, which covers the Zat. Now Zat where? But he says it's coming from Olam Abriya. So you're talking about possibly the Zat of those two, of Abriya, shining into Yitzira, and then ultimately into, with this 28 and 42, into Olam Asiya. Kaddish al Yado al Yadei. The idea is like this: that through this, as a koich the sag, as a mab the sag, yuchel the says kol alcher kach koich ruach yitzira, that produces the ruach and yitzira to come out. And it manifests itself in all of yitzira, including the zat. Mamela yichola lagar the olam arasiya, the says is koich haruach the olam yitzira, b'kol olam arasiya ad sofo, until you get to the end. Okay, let's look a little bit more. V'nevayar kol hakadeshim sheyesh b'tefilas chakras. Now we're in a little different piece. Let's explain all the rest of them. V'atar v'nevayar Rav say the kavanas kol hakadeshim sheyesh b'tefilas chakras. V'agav, and on the way, yizboy l'chor shachar pratim shal tefillah. V'agav shenob, on the way, he says shenevayar as inya the kadeshim the tefilas chakras. He says memela. So that we'd also think again of all the different pratim, the parts of the tefillah, of tefillah's chakras. So in other words, all the other kadeshim. Hinein boyer la'el has been explained up above, he says. Ki min haschalas ha-tefillah ad baruch she'amar. Hu ba'olam asiyah, we understand that, but the chidas of tefillah's chakras ad miras baruch she'amar just repeats it again. Ana misaktim is olam asiyah. Misham ad yotze, or until you go to there, hu olam yitzira. So he said, let's skip down. Misham nun dalad. He says the misham al tefilas shmona esrei hu olam abriya, going down a little bit more. For tefilas shmona esrei, as we understand, hu olam atzilus be'es amiris tefilas yotches, that misaktim ola es olam asiyah, atzilus. And he says, then now after this, he says, V'acher amiris tefilas amida, Elu Yordim Aloma Babria Yitzira Nisia, Me'ela the Tata. Now, what is he talking about? V'Yeridis Alomos Bia, Hu Ma'olam Atzilos Ad. So he said, V'Yeridis is coming down from Olam Atzilos Ad Lamata Mekomo, from in the place that they all. I guess he has Koman in plural. I'm not sure exactly what he means, unless he's talking about all of Bia. We can't keep them. So I said, "V'chatam Yeridis Olamos Bia la'achar tefillah." So I guess I must have missed something. After the tefillah, everything falls down again. Hu mishum shebimei hachol ein lana koach, but tefillah, which he means that in Shabbos you actually keep it going. La'amed es ha'olamos b'mekoma b'mesha kol hayom, to take the stand. These olomos in their place all the whole day long. Rakli yachtam the fisha, but you could put them together for a moment. So let's go down to Samach Aleph. It says, "V'take of choizrim the makom," so then immediately when the Shemona Esrei is over, as they're over, they start to go back to their places. So what we do is we bring everything up into Atzilus. That's what we're talking about now. Oz immediately take it from Miyad Shavim Alomah V'Choizrim the Mekomam Lamata V'Chein Chu Haseder B'Mei HaChol Daika, and that's the way it goes weekday wise. V'Hinei V'Ata V'Voyer Rav as Seder Yeridis Alomos. Now we'll talk about that. Let's try to get through this quick. He said, "V'Min Ashrei Ad Tefillas David Hu Olam HaBriya." So down to the next one. Misham ad ein Kaddish Hashem, until you get to that place, Hu Olam HaYitzira. But defeated the David v'Shir Shal Yom ad Chaschalas Amiras ein Kadosh Hashem Ana Maridim as Hashefa l'Olam Yitzira. So we're starting to bring the Shefa down to Yitzira. Misham ad Elenu, until you get to Elenu, that's really the Ein Kelokenus, etc., and the Ketoras. He says over that you're bringing the Shevach to all the way up to Olam Yitzira. From that place, Ein Kadosh Hashem, Ein Kalokeno, and all of that. Ademiris Olena the Shebeach, Anamaridim as a Shefa the Olam Masiyah. So a little bit more, and he says like this: V'Lechein, V'Kedei LeHorid as a Shefa HaRoi LeRed LeKol Olam Meshalosh Salomas Bia, in order to bring the Shefa down. So now when we listen to Kaddish, Tiknu Kaddish Echad, there's always a Kaddish at these stages. Because Shinoi Olam v'Olam, every time there's a change in the Olam. There's Tiknu Lomer Kaddish because Shinoi Olam v'Olam. V'Ofen Shach Kaddish L'Achar Tachnos. There's a Kaddish right there. Hula Hamshach Mechatzilus the Bria. Now you're moving into Olam HaBria. V'Kaddish L'Achar B'Bal Tzion. There's another one after Bal Tzion. Hula Hamshach Hashefa Mechabria L'Yitzira. V'Kaddish L'Achar Amilas Ashir Shal Yom. And so maybe it's the reason why it's not in the Ashkenazes that just didn't get there, because of the development of Ashkenaz. V'Hakadosh Shalachar Amidas Ashir Shal Yom Hu Lahamshak as a Shefa V'Chayitzira L'Chasiya V'Hakadosh Shal Achar Ein Kalokenu Hu Nikra Kaddish Yisima. I guess he means for a Yasom. I'm not sure what that means exactly. V'Archa Leila, or does it mean Yisima? That's why I was thinking that it was Yasom. Sima. Like a chosim, not that word, no. But then after Alena, you don't have to say Kaddish, and that's the way it goes in the Sfardi Siddur. Okay, that's it. Thank you.